Hey, it's Rich, the Louisiana hobby guy. Man, it's been a long 2 weeks. I had the ISA show in Orlando, Florida. Patrick and I went there, and we did 3 days of show and a factory tour at Eon, and then came back, and I had 10 days of videos to get done, along with a little surgery in between. And man, I'll tell you what, it's been a long 2 weeks. But today we're going to do something different. I was on the internet looking for project ideas, which I regularly do. I specifically spend a lot of time cruising Etsy and looking for bestsellers. And there's a new bestseller on Etsy called coin hole boards. Just like the big game, but a desktop version. And this is my version of it that I came up with. I actually came up with this one first. So this is the first version I came up with. I put this little 3mm lip all the way around so that, you know, the coins wouldn't slide off the board. And then I made one like this. So I made two different versions of it in Lightburn, all from scratch. And day before yesterday was my birthday, and I had the family over, and this game was a big hit. I can't believe how big of a hit it was. I enjoyed playing it myself. So everybody liked this one. Nobody liked the other one. So I went with this one, and this is going to be my final design right here. And you put any graphics that you want on here. It doesn't matter what it is. I actually came up with a new graphic called Coin Hole, where the words cross each other, and the O is an actual quarter. So maybe, you know, you guys might like that. That's going to be my next one. I just did some redesigning, added rules to the back, and the name over here on the side, and just a couple minor changes, but I'm going to show you that right now. So let's get started. All right, so here are my two designs. Oh, and I forgot, I said that I was going to show you. So here on Etsy, this is the actual, can you believe this? $16.99, regular price $20, on sale for just that, what you see there. I mean, very little design put into this, as you can imagine. And then I actually went online and did some searching, and I found coinhole.com, and they even have a video here. And let me see, turn this on.
Cornhole is the tabletop version of cornhole that you play with coins. Create a hole along the board and play to 21, or make up your own rules.
I don't want to get a strike from YouTube on this by playing this whole video, but there you go. This is actually being sold in many places. It's like 8,172 reviews for this seller, and we're going to do it today in Lightburn. And we're doing this on one piece of $1.25 is what this is going to cost, because we're doing this on a, let's put this on a tool path, and 11.75 like that, and dock it up in the top left corner. So as you can see, we've got room to do two of these if we wanted to. If we nested this correctly, we could do two of these boards for $1.25. I get a lot of questions about these coins and how to engrave both sides. In a little while, I'll show you the video of actually cutting this out. You can see how I do it. And it's really very simple. All you have to do is have your frame or your wood in an exact spot. If you don't have like a laser like I've got that's precision, the Lasermatic, then you can just tape down that piece of wood in one spot. And you just go ahead and run this job. When it's finished, don't take anything off. Leave it taped to your honeycomb. Don't move anything. And just take your X-Acto knife and pick in the corner here and flip it over and put it right back in the hole. And do the same thing here. So that's just how easy it is to do it double-sided. I'll show you in the video. I'm not going to take a whole lot of time today. I don't want this to be an hour-long video, me showing you every step of the way. But I will show you some of the basics. Let me get rid of this framing square right here, and let me show you the basics of doing this. So we have to make all of these pieces, and it's really very simple. First thing I did was I went into my cog setting up here, the wheels. And in here I changed my visual grid spacing. Let me put this in millimeters. Changed my visual grid spacing to 6. And I'll tell you why in a moment. So I'm going to change that to 6 right here, visual grid spacing, and say OK. So now I have 6 millimeter squares. So I have 3 millimeter wood, and unusual is that I actually have 3 millimeter wood. It comes in right at anywhere from 2.98 to 3.1. So it's perfect for this. These 6 millimeter squares are going to be my guidelines. And what I'm going to do is grab a rectangle over here, a primitive, and I'm just going to use this to draw out my rectangle. So I drew out the rectangle at 6 by 6 square. And you'll get the point of this in just a moment. So now that is double the size of what I need. So now if I take a look over here, I should have an 80 by 150, or that's pretty close, 80 by 150 rectangle. So I'm going to draw another one, and I'm going to make it up here. I'm going to go 80 by 150. There we go. So these are my templates that I'm going to use to make this over here. So now with this guy over here, I'm going to take and snap this in over here. And actually what I want to do is I want to bring this to a corner so that I can use these 6 millimeter squares right here. I'm going to take this one here and I'm going to snap it into that corner right there. And I'm going to make an array of these. And actually I think I wanted to snap it into the middle. Yeah, there we go. So you can see I'm off just a little bit. I'm just going to bring it to the point where it's right on that line. Right there is snapped in both ways. So now I've got my first tab and slot. And that's the reason why I'm doing it this way, because I'm making both the tabs and the slots at the same time. Okay? So with this selected now, what I need to do is make an array of these. So I'm going to come down here to the array tool, and on the X columns I'm going to leave it at 1, and on the Y rows, Y is up and down, I'm going to move it down, and I want the spacing to be 6 millimeters. So in order for the spacing to be 6 millimeters, this has to be set at 12. Okay? And now I'm just going to make this grid all the way down like that. And there we go. So now I've got my my 13 of these. And actually it should really be 12 like that. And I'm going to say OK. And then now what I can do is, with that one selected, I'll just hold this one right here and align it like that. And this moved over again. I want this one to be in the middle. So I'm just going to move this and snap it into the middle right here. Right there. So now I've got my template done. I'm going to duplicate that, Control and the letter D. And I'm going to pull this off to the side right here. That way I have those to work with for the rest of the project. I'm not going to do the whole project here today. I'm just going to show you what it is that I do to make these. And let me move this off to the right side over here. And there we go. So now these are now slots and tabs, depending on how we weld these together. So if I come across, drag across both of these, and then I go and use the weld feature, you'll see that we just created the slots. You see that? And now I'll use this template over and over again. So I'll grab this template and snap it over to the center of this side. And I want to do the same thing that we did over there. So we'll go ahead and want to do that. Okay, so now we have it. And another thing you can do too, if you press Control and the letter B, like boy, you can bring up the Boolean tool and do it that way. So let me undo that so you can see that. Control, letter B, like boy, brings up your Boolean assistant, and then you can look at either subtract or weld, a union, I'm sorry. So there we go. So there's our two, subtract and union, and this makes it a lot easier so that you don't make any mistakes. But there we go. We've got our first project, or our first piece. One thing that I didn't do was make a copy of this, so I'm just going to go ahead and do that over here, and we'll just put that off to the side. And I also didn't make a copy of this one, which I should have. But anyway, you get the idea. This is how I'm making these. So now the thing that I have to do next is I have to do the top, and we only need tabs in the middle. So I'm going to take this and duplicate it, Control and the letter D, press the comma key, bring this over to here, and see how many of these I want. And I want these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, these 6, 5 or 6. The number doesn't make any difference. So I'll ungroup this, and then I'll just delete these. And now I'm going to come back here and regroup these. I'll regroup these up top, and then I will select this one and then just put it directly in the center like that. So now we've got the center and we've got the sides, and what we need these to do is, let's do the Boolean assistant this time, so that makes this easier to understand. So if we come here, that's what we've got in this direction, or we've got this one in this direction. So the union is what we're looking for here, because this is going to be a corner up here. So there we go. We've got our union, and we can say OK to that. And our first piece, if you look over here, this is the same as this one over here. Now, like I said, I'm not going to do this whole thing, but if you wanted to make this top piece over here, because I'm trying to keep this video short, so the height on this one is 30, and the way that we can do that is we can just take and duplicate this one, move this off because that's another one of our templates that we're going to use, and then we can set this on a corner, and I want this to be on the corner right there, so I can measure down this way. And then if I come over to node edit like that, and I come down 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, so right about there, I'll just go ahead and drag over all of these right here and hit the D key like that. Then I'll drag over these two, and I'll hold shift to bring this all the way up to right about there. And now what I can do is bring this down to a corner, go back into the node edit so that I can get this the right size. We know that's 6 millimeters, so I'm just going to drag this up to the middle like that. That looks like about 3 millimeters, and all of this is sort of about somewhere around, you know, something like that. And you know, you can make different pieces like this. Now this isn't the actual piece because I did tabs instead of slots, but you get the idea. I'm just trying to show you how to get this done. So for these side pieces was also very simple. I just took my template, duplicated it, and I looked at it and I saw, well, I want you know, 2 sides or so. If we come up here and we look at it, it's about, the width on this is about 30 millimeters. So that's what I want to do here, and I'll just put this into a corner, and actually this piece here needs to be up against the line. So now that I've got that up against the line, I can measure off of there, and I just take another rectangle, bring it in here like that, select it, and start turning it. Now I want that to be about 30 millimeters, so here I've got 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, right on this line. So that's pretty close to where it needs to be. I'll move it like that, and then I know that that's where it needs to be, and I'll just move this around now until I get to, and I forgot my point there. 6, 12, 18, 20. Yeah, that's it right there. And that looks good right there. So that's how I made the side that you see over here. And all you have to do is just drag over these two. Again, bring up Control and the letter B, or you can go up to the top menu and get to it that way. And all we wanted to do here was just subtract A from B, like that. And we now have the side piece. And you're only making one side because once you've got this done, hit Control and the letter D to duplicate and come up to the top and mirror it like that. And now we've got both sides done. So very easy to do all of this. And now if we take a look, the reason why I went 6 millimeters on this will be apparent if I zoom in here and come over here. You'll see that's exactly 3 millimeters deep. So our tab is 3 millimeters out, and our slot is 6 millimeters wide. So that's exactly what we want there. 6 millimeters, 3 millimeters, everywhere on this piece, except for the corners. So the corners are going to be a slightly different size. So there you go. Hard to get through. It's hard to make a tutorial video after spending 2 weeks away from it, but really easy to do. And probably the only other thing that people are going to wonder about here is how did I make that circle like that? And that also was very simple. I just dragged out a circle like so. To do the bullseye part, I just took a rectangle and dragged a rectangle over it, and then I duplicated it, Control and the letter D, press the period key or the comma key to turn it sideways, drag over both of them and bullseye them like that. And then each one of these, actually this one I've got to offset first. So I'm going to offset that, and that looks pretty good, 6 millimeters. Say OK. And maybe I would make these not quite as wide, just by dragging them in like that. Now we can bullseye it once more. And all I do here is just drag these in like that. And I do the same thing here, drag it in so it just overlaps into the circle. So let's group these now. Got those grouped, and we can come in here, drag over both of these, Control and the letter B to bring up the Boolean assistant. And you'll see that here, if we just come over here to the union and click on that, we've got that one done. And now we'll just do this one again, Control and the letter B, and bring this up. And now we're going to come to the union one more time. And there you can see that we've now got our bullseye. This shape is almost ready to use. The only thing left to do is cut that circle out of the center. And we'll just go ahead and drag out a circle. I'm not doing any of this to size here, only because I'm just showing you how to do it. So we're going to select this one. I'm going to select this one. And we'll do it again, Control and the letter B. And we'll bring that up. And if we come to union, that's not what we want right there. So what we want to do here is subtract B from A, like that. Because we want this to all be one piece. That way when we put it on the green layer, it's going to work well. So the only thing left to do at this point is just to make one more circle, put it on the red, and go ahead and get this size to the right size like that. And that's how I did that center one right there. So real easy stuff. I've done it all in past videos before, and you know, I've shown you how to do these things in many different videos, but that's everything that you need to know for this one here. And then the only last thing that I did here was I got one of my quarters and I did coin hole for the name of the game. On the back I put the rules. One, bounce the coin off the table. These are my rules. It's my game. So number 2, most coins in the hole wins. And finally, first coin in the slot wins. If you get it in this slot right here, you're really good. So you win if you can get it in there. And I just put a couple more things, the name of the game on both sides, and that's it. Real simple, real easy to do. So let's jump over to the laser and cut this out and check on the assembly. Okay, so we're in the laser lab now, and I've made a couple changes before I run this file on the Lasermatic. Let me show you the changes that I made. So if you take a look here, you'll see that I have actually nested all of this. This blue toolpath on the outside is a 11.75, let's say a 12 by 12 piece of wood, and everything on the inside here is 2 copies. So we've got, actually I'm missing these 2 and that one there. So I'm going to fix that right now, and then we'll actually run this job, and for about 62 cents a piece we're going to make 2 of these. So let me re-nest this real quick off camera. Okay, and there you go. So I've gone ahead and added 2 more of these and 1 more of these and moved some of these around just a little bit. And now we've got everything on a 12 by 12, and we're ready to actually start the laser. So if I switch over to the laser real quick, I'm using the Rolly Automation Lasermatic Mark II. This is the 1030 watt. I'm going to switch it over into 30 watts and turn it on. And I've already actually got it in 30 watts. So we're going to let that home. I know that the focus is correct because I already ran the last job on the same wood. So I'm not going to do anything. I just put a piece of wood up in the top left corner, and I'm going to hit start. So let me just make sure that my cuts and layers are all right, and they are. So here we go. Start. And it's going to start running that job now. I'm going to actually keep recording this, but I'm going to speed up this part of the video until we get to the point where it's time to flip over those coins. And once we get to that point right there, I'll stop it and I'll show you how I do the other side. Before we do that, I just thought of something real quick. I want to switch back to the other screen while that's running, because there's something really important that I forgot to show you. If you notice, I don't have this all the way up to the edge over here, and that's because of the scanning. So if we come to the preview and make sure that you have show traversal moves on down here, you'll notice that the over scanning on this, when it does the engraving, is going to come way out close to the edge here. If this over scanning goes further than the edge, you're going to hit a hard stop and the machine's not going to run. So I just wanted to point that out. This green square that you see here around the outside, that green square is the actual laser bed itself. You don't ever want your travel with your over scanning to go into that green square. As an example, if I were to show you, come to that scan layer, and let's say that I set my over scanning here at 6% as an example, and say okay. When I come back to the preview again, well, I'm still okay there. It's close, but it's not gonna hit. So that's still okay. So let me just make it a little bit bigger. Let's just set it at 8 so we know that it'll be too much. And everything looks the same, except it's scanning past the end of the laser bed right here. So once it'll do these first few passes okay down here. Let me show you if I back this up. We'll come all the way down to the bottom. Those first couple of passes, let me hit play, are going to be okay. But the minute that it gets to that one right there, it's going to stop dead, and it's not going to go any further. So that's going to be the end of the job right there, because it's going to go beyond the limits of the laser. So I'm just going to go ahead and put this back to where it was before, which I think I had it set at 4. 4 is a good number for this speed, 22,500. and we're just going to leave it at that. So now we can go back over to the laser, and I'll speed up this job until we get to the cut. Okay, so there it is. I don't know if my microphone is going to reach way over here, but I'm just going to open this up and show you what I do to flip the coins, and then I'll speed this back up. So basically I just make sure that I don't move the wood, and I take my X-Acto knife, I just grab it from one side and flip it straight over to the other side like that, and just push it right back into the hole. So I'll go around and I'll do this on all of them, just like that. And now I'll speed this back up so you don't have to watch me do every single one of them. I'm also going to go back. The coin didn't come out right, so I'm going to put that on another layer, and I'll show you all that once I get this done. Alright, so now that we've got all of the coins flipped, I'm going to come back over here to Lightburn, and I didn't get very much engraving out of these, so I'm going to ungroup these, and I'm going to put these on a different layer. I'm not sure how many times I have to ungroup this. There we go. So twice. I'm going to do the same thing here. Ungroup, ungroup, and then select that one, and select this one, and I'm gonna put those on the gold layer. So on that gold layer, I'm gonna change that. I'm gonna change that to 15,090 on here, and then we're going to put this into fill like that, and I'm going to add a line after fill, and I'm going to do that at 6,000 and maybe 75. So that'll be a completely separate layer with a line after fill. Now on this, all I'm going to do is run the numbers once again, and I probably should have put the numbers on another layer as well. I think the easiest thing to do at this point would be to just get rid of some of this stuff, and you can always undo this later. We'll just hit undo, 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 undo once we're done, because I only want to run the coins and the numbers. So we'll take all of that off of there. We'll take all of this off of here, And like I said, when I'm done, I can just hit undo a whole bunch of times. And now I'll turn off the red layer. And actually, I don't want any of this either. So let me get all of these and drag all of these off. Alright, so now I'm left with exactly what I want. Just the numbers and just the coins. And that's it. I don't want to move anything else. So we're going to go back to the laser, and I'm going to run this job one more time now on the reverse side of the coins. And also the quarters is going to be a whole new job in the same exact spot. So I'm just going to hit start, and we're going to keep on going. Okay, there we go. After a couple of little hiccups along the way, I finally figured out how I wanted that coin, and I got it right with a line after fill. So I had that layer set wrong to begin with. It was set for my fiber. Alright, let's get all this picked up and brought over to the workbench. I don't need the coins right now. Just need the parts. And I don't know if you noticed, but this number 2 coin over here looked like it was sticking out, but it still did just fine. So let me get rid of some of that background noise and bring all of this over to the bench. And now hopefully we can put this together. So the coin itself, let me show you how that came out. Even with the hiccup, I think it came out really great. I can run the paintbrush over this just a little bit. In fact, let me grab that right quick. Just to dust off some of the dust, because that's really not a good showing what I just showed you right there. Just get some of that dust off of there. And now you can see what a great engraving it did on the coin. So I think that came out good, all of that. And we have 2 of these boards that we made for 62 cents a piece. And so here is our back. What I usually do is I lay these out. And let's see, this one goes here. So there's our 4 pieces right there. I'll put these over with that one. And I'm hoping that I'm going to be able to use my hammer, because I just love using my hammer on this kind of stuff. And if I made this right, it's going to be a hammer fit. Yep. So there's not going to be any glue necessary for this. That fit perfectly on there. We have a perfect fit. Now all I have to do is the other side. So let me put this side on here. This one's a little tighter. We'll give it a little help with the hammer. You heard that snap in place down there. That one just snapped in place up there. This is not a super tight fit, but it's tight enough to hold itself. Because once we put the top on, and I guess I can't go up that high, it'll be out of the camera's range. But once I put this on, it'll lock in a couple different directions. Now I'm having a hard time seeing myself, but that looks about right there. This needs to come out just a bit. Actually, I can probably do it like this. Stick it in like that, and then bring these pieces in like that. And this one doesn't want to go in, so we'll just give it a shot with the hammer. And there we go, folks. Finished product. All set to go. It's nice and sturdy. It's nice and tight. It's not going to fall apart if I drop it. If I flip it over, whatever I do, it's a nice, tight friction fit that needs no glue. So if you're, going to be giving this to small children, maybe you might want to run a little bead of glue inside here and here. If you do, use like an ultra thin CA glue, and that way it'll absorb into the wood itself. Remember, when you get soot and debris on here, just use a paintbrush to get these off, to get the soot and the debris off. You don't need to do anything else but use a paintbrush. I know lots of people tell you get out the sander, but that's just not true. It doesn't work well. Not for me anyway. It didn't work well on marble. It worked perfectly on my glass top table. But here is the whole game. Coin hole. And I think it came out really well. So you get to do 2 games with all of these different pieces for up to 4 players. You can have up to 4 players, and you can each get 5 turns apiece, I believe. And lots of fun. So here's my rules on the back side, and then over here I've got coin hole, the name of the game, on both sides. And there you go. That is it right there. Okay, all done. Here's my 2 games. 1, 2. No glue, just friction fit. Got them both ready. I've got my coins ready. These are ready to play. I'm going to give these to my kids. My grandkids and my kids absolutely love playing this game. We played it for a long time, night before last. I guess probably about 2 hours. Once I showed it to them, everybody was like, "Oh, I want to try! I want to try!" And we had 4 players playing at once on 2 different boards. 8 people all together that were popping coins on the table. Let me tell you, it worked really great on the glass table. On this press board here, yeah, it didn't work too good. Neither did it work on the wood. But I especially want to leave it unfinished so that it acts like an actual cornhole pillow, that you throw and it just sort of stops as soon as it hits. And that's why I'm not finishing these. So listen, if you stuck around to this point in the video, I'm going to give you this file for free. So just head over to my online store. I'll put a link down below, engravingcutfiles.com, and use that coupon code right there. And you'll get this if you're one of my regular viewers, and I know only my hardcore viewers stick around to this point, but if you're one of those hardcore viewers, I really appreciate that. And you can take that coupon code right there and get this file for free for, let's see, until May 8th. How does that sound? So from now until May 8th, if you use that coupon code at engravingcutfiles.com, you'll get this file for free, only for my hardcore patrons. So I want to thank you so much for sticking around until the end. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.